Hey YouTube, happy Wednesday. It is, let me see, this week is our kind of coming out process. And I really have to say my coming out process probably was in little phases, like most people's. Um, so, really, aside from like the quick note of I came out first in high school as a lesbian, um, my coming out process as a trans person was a little bit different. At the time, I was working for a corporate office, um, doing just like human resources stuff, and um, so I knew if I was going to start my transition, I needed to come out there. So I had to come out professionally. I was also at the time going to school and at a local community college, and I was playing sports there. So there was that component of coming out to my coach and then to potentially other people there at school. So then there was my private life and my family, and so I had to come out obviously to them. And then there was kind of my general social friends and people that are not in my family, but they weren't necessarily people I work with or go to school with. So my friends and you know, close friends from high school mostly. So the first person I actually spontaneously came out to was my mom, and it actually kind of happened accidentally. I was just, the wear and tear of kind of keeping something like the true feelings I was having about my identity under wraps started to kind of take a toll on me, and I ended up just kind of telling her one day at dinner, not planning to. It just kind of happened, and from there, obviously, it's sort of snowball effect. I needed to start telling other people, so I kind of thought, well, I'm generally pretty shy. I don't like to just kind of, you know, say it to people's face. What I was really afraid of was that I would say it and it wouldn't come out the way I had thought about it sounding. So, um, the really next important people to me in my life was my brother and my dad. So I needed to tell them, and I felt like the best way for me to do that was to write a letter. And so I did. I wrote a letter just about a page long, and I left it for each of them, and kind of waited to see what they were going to say. And that was kind of that first phase for me of coming out, was just saying, putting it on paper and giving it to a lot of the people that were close to me. Um, with work, I actually decided to use that same letter. I obviously just adjusted who it was to, and I met with at the time, the generalist for our human resources department, the vice president of the company, and a couple other people. And we kind of went over like a plan of how I was going to transition at work, because of my job and the interactions I was doing with people in the company. It would be weird if all of a sudden I sort of vanished and then there was this new person there, but if they came into the office, it was still me. So we wanted to find a way that I could come out comfortably, and also make sure that everyone had the education and the language behind kind of what was going on. And so what I actually ended up doing is, it was a small corporate office, probably about 20 or 30 people at the time, and I just decided to leave them the letter. We had a 2-week winter break sort of a thing, and I decided to just leave them the letter on their desks right before the break, so that during the break they could read it, in the privacy of their home. They could process what that meant, and then when we came back in 2 weeks, we could talk about it. And it actually worked out really well, because they did have the chance to go home and kind of think about what was happening. A lot of them, I had been working there already at that point for about 4 years. I want to say maybe almost 5. And so a lot of them had known me, and it would have been, it's not just like they just met me. So there was a lot of adjusting that had to be done. And then kind of next after that came school. And since I was playing golf for a local community college, I told my coach. And actually, he's probably the only person so far in that list of people that was close to me and that I considered sort of an important part of my life, that kind of asked me not to transition. It wasn't so much that he wasn't supportive of me transitioning. He wasn't supportive of the timeline of when I wanted to transition. and part of that was is he felt I could potentially earn a scholarship to play golf at a four-year university, but obviously it would be playing for a women's golf team, so I would need to remain a woman. And I just told him I couldn't do it. I had to do this for myself, or I probably wasn't going to make it anyway. So, he accepted that. He didn't kind of give me any grief afterwards. I think he was just concerned I was walking away from an opportunity, and I understand that he was coming from a good place. But he and I now still remain in contact, and it's just kind of cool that he was kind of really on board. I had only known him for about a year at that point, and so I was kind of glad to see his reaction was positive. And then the last group is kind of my my friends. I, during the last year of high school, had lost a lot of my friends in general because of my anxiety and my depression. I sort of shut a lot of people out. So I didn't have a lot of friends to really come out to. The ones that I did have, though, I basically used the wonders of social media, and I put that same letter on Facebook, and I think I put it on my MySpace at the time, and let people have at it. I figured the people important to me and who read it are going to read it, and the people who don't, oh well, they don't. And from there I got a lot of comments and whatnot and questions, but and also when I checked, probably within the next couple weeks, I did lose several friends on the interwebs, which is fine. Obviously I wanted to surround myself with people that are going to be supportive. But really that letter for me was kind of the gateway to, my coming out. I don't know how else I could have done it that I would have been able to describe how I was feeling and, do it in a way that it was articulate and it was, a way that people could really get an insight into what I was thinking and feeling. Because, I figured I may be able to say it, but I may not. Like, I may get really nervous and then I won't say it the way I imagine saying it. And so that letter for me was really the kind of center, of my coming out. From there, it's been like, we're looking at 4 years actually, I think today or tomorrow, since I came out to my mom. And I feel like, it's kind of a never-ending process. The next phase kind of my life now in my coming out as trans is because I'm planning my wedding, and my future mother-in-law's family is very aware, and they know, they've read my letter, and then a couple of them have my mom's book, so they know, and that's cool, and I see them all the time. I haven't met my future father-in-law's family, and it's because they're very conservative and religious, and because I'm getting married, they want to tell that part of the family now kind of who I am, and who their daughter is, and who we are as a couple. And so they're sending my letter along with a letter of their own. But that's kind of where I'm at right now in my coming out process. Is it almost feels like it never ends. There's always somebody that I could potentially come out to. And the majority of those really close important people in my life, they know, but there's always going to be someone down the road that I'll have that choice whether I want to come out to them or not. One day it'll be my own children, and I still haven't figured out how I want to navigate that. But I have to say, it's always a little nerve-wracking, but it has the potential to be something really extraordinary and really bring people together in a way that I've seen. I don't think if I would have come out would have ever happened. So I just wanted to say it's been really cool, and though there have been times that obviously it's been anxiety-ridden and frustrating, it definitely has, kind of showed me who the true people in my life are that I can count on, and that really love and accept me for who I am. And I don't think I would have been able to really tell who those people were without something like this as a part of my life. So that's pretty much it for this week. You know, I hope everybody had a really great Thanksgiving and is getting ready for the holidays. I did want to say thanks to Jayden for mentioning my mom's book. Please spread the word about it. Not because it's my family's book or my story, but it's because of the story itself. Could potentially be really helpful to other families. So spread the word if you can. I would appreciate it. And I hope Eli is recovering really well. And congrats on your surgery. All right. See you guys in a couple weeks.